This is the story of why I justify planning intervention. City planners are known to be the guardians of the public interest. Now, it is easy saying this, but it is so much difficult in practice. It is not a surprise that what is represented by planners sometimes reflect a certain population of people and leaves other marginalized and minority communities behind. This is due to the costs of living in a democracy and a capitalist society. David Harvey said something that truly gave me pause. He said, "Capitalism has no interest in building cities for people. It has an interest in building cities for profit." He goes on identifying that capital loves mega projects with a high rate of return. Obviously, these kinds of projects don't involve marginalized communities, unless the elite doesn't want it in their backyard. Marginalized communities are expected to perform at the rate of communities that are flourishing. This inequity is what drew me to be a planner in the first place. I justify planning intervention to intervene in the market to achieve a degree of redistribution. I want to back up a little bit to give you two personal examples of why I justify my reason for planning intervention. Growing up, I immersed myself in my environment. I rode my bike, climbed trees, and played with kids in my neighborhood. As naive as it sounds, I considered my environment safe because the only rule was to be home before the streetlights came on. However, my perspective on my community began to alter after being told to not play in a nearby creek because it was toxic from non-point source pollution. You guessed it, I was in a PIMBY neighborhood, better known as put into my backyard. Some residents advocated placement of these corporations in my community because they were reliant on economic development from an outside source and thought the firm would help give them jobs. As a result of being exposed to pollutants, I was diagnosed and overcame a rare environmentally induced cancer called nasopharyngeal carcinoma in 2009. I think this example relates to Harvey's point. If communities are driven by profit, the concept of public health and environmental justice comes after the value of profit. I find it humiliating as a planner that people have to compromise themselves and their future generations to make it financially. I don't think they should ever have to face this kind of choice. Planning intervention would address this through land use zoning and economic development. I think better regulation could have been made to prevent public health justice problems from happening in my community. Now, I know as planners, we have our eyes set on getting to the destination and just fixing the problem, but I don't want to end this video on that note. I think there is so much power in sitting in the mess and being comfortable with the realities that populations are dealing with daily. By sitting in the mess, we are opening ourselves up to the community and working up a mindset of truly hearing them. Only then can true grassroots innovation occur for accurate market intervention to achieve a degree of redistribution.